Joined by Bryan Hayes and Mike Johnson. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing we split you guys up. MJ, you took the Edmonton Oilers as your pick to win the Stanley Cup this season. I got to be honest with you. Hayes is coming out of his skin. He's chomping at the bit to come at you. I know it was just one game, but it was ugly on every level. Are you ready to rethink your pick as the Oilers for the Cup?
No, and it's so unlike Hazy to overreact to a bad loss to start the year. Unprecedented. I've never seen this before. Listen, I wasn't the only one who took Edmonton to win the Stanley Cup, and I'm sticking by that pick. It was one game. Yes, not a good one. Yes, the goaltenders weren't good, but I'm not going to act like Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid aren't still on the team, that they didn't have one of the best power plays in the history of the game last year with all the returning players. They added Connor Brown, and I understand. Wait till they get Matthias Ekholm back in the lineup. He slots everyone so well, makes Bouchard better. 18-2-1 last year with him in the lineup. They missed him desperately. They're not a perfect team, but there are no perfect teams. So just pump the brakes, relax. One game, they'll be fine.
All right, so with Matthias Ekholm, what is it, 5-1 last night, Vancouver, with Ekholm?
Made all the difference.
It's maybe
unless he was a net stopping the puck.
Maybe 4-1 last night. Listen, I love you, Johnny, and I respect you, and I would lose all respect for you if you pull the shoot on your pick after one game. I mean, it's one game, but it was an awful game. And a few things stick out for me when it comes to what is hanging over this Oilers team in terms of their pursuit of the Stanley Cup. Number one is goaltending. Everyone understands that. If Jack Campbell does not find his form, and he did not at any point last year, you put all the pressure on Stuart Skinner. I'm not convinced he has what it makes and has what it takes to lead them to 16 wins in the spring. You mentioned the power play. It was historically great. I think, like the Bruins last year, historically great. The Bruins will come back to earth. That power play will come back to earth. Also, the pressure that hangs over this team, right? Jeff Jackson's out there to make sure McDavid's happy, Draisaitl's happy. They have a lot on their plate this year. They're not the only team in the league dealing with pressure. But if goaltending struggles, if the power play comes back to earth, if the pressure kicks in, I'm not sure this team's winning a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, of course not, if the goaltending struggles. Well, they have a guy, the other guy, Stuart Skinner. Where did he play last year? Oh, in the All-Star game. I guess he's okay. They have two options. Who won the Stanley Cup last year, Hayes? Adin Hill. Where was he on your bingo card of goalies capable of winning a Stanley Cup for Vegas?
Though, Johnny. You're right about that.
Well, better defensively. They're not better offensively. So, take your pick. Like I said, they're not perfect, but their offense can win them games without as good goaltending as the defense provided for Vegas. So I'm not willing to concede that. Yes, it's a question mark. Yes, they have to play good, but they have two guys who might be able to do so. Historic power play might regress a little bit. I think you got that from me last week, Hayes. I understand that. But if they go from 33 to 30, they're still the best in the league and still will be very good. I'm not banking on pressure or regression hurting McDavid and Draisaitl and what they do offensively the rest of this year. I'm sticking with them. They're not perfect, but they're still one of the best teams in the league with the two best players who kill it when they get to the playoffs.
Yes, they do, up until a certain point. Again, when the goaltending has to get them over the top, where the defensive play has to get them over the top. Listen, Edmonton's a really good team. No one's disputing that. Obviously, they're not going to go 0-82 this year because they lost last night in embarrassing fashion in Vancouver. But Colorado, they look good. Vegas, they look good. I think LA is going to be in the running as we move forward here. That Pacific Division, the Western Conference, there's some monsters out there. The Oilers are making the playoffs. That's not what we're discussing today. The question is, will the possible issues flare up? They flared up last night. If they flare up more as the season goes on, and especially into the playoffs, that's where I think the pressure kicks in. That's where McDavid starts cheating. Draisaitl starts cheating. You start leaning into that power play and making sure that it works. That can be concerning. It didn't start last night, but it's maybe a month or two away from really popping up.
MJ, you wouldn't pick a number one goalie in Edmonton. You said it's just a matter of going with the hotter goalie at the time. Jack Campbell got pulled after giving up 4 on 16 shots. Stuart Skinner came in, and he gave up 4 on 16 shots. So good luck making the call on which one's better moving forward.